On the 40 acres, on campus grounds, we gather round, discussing goals and dreams and life's adventures. The Texas Longhorns, they the talk of the town. High castles of the 40 acres, where we dive deep into the game day stories, from touchdowns to heartbreakers. We discuss it all, Texas Longhorns glory. Here we gather round each Thursday night, talking sports, it's so alright. From football to basketball, baseball to softball, Tim Wayne and Harry, we cover it all. Sports talk is our passion, our delight. Thursday night at 8:30, we unite. We discuss the scores, the plays, the teams you like. Let's dive into the game, let's ignite.
12 conference champions.
Well, there we go. Yo, what's up? It is the Texas Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. We usually start with seeing how myself and Tim Wayne are doing, but we got to give a shout out to our boy DJ DG.
Yes,
DJ,
sir.
what's up, my guy? How are you doing tonight, man? Hope you're doing well. The Nerds will officially be kicking in tomorrow. DG, man, I'll tell you this, man. I've been thinking about a lot about this game this week and watching a lot of different shows and doing all those things. I'm very, very intrigued by this game this week. And I think it's for different reasons than what others might. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm nervous yet. I feel nervous for like a positive nervous, if that makes sense. But it's not. Nerves to me used to be like, I hope we don't screw something up. Nerves to me this week is like, I feel really good about this game, but what if, right? That's like nervous for me.
Right.
So, but hey, DG, as always, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate. Yeah, no, this is good. It's more of excitement than nerves, though. I just hope Sark has a good plane. Yeah, exactly. And this is what I feel like. No, I'm right there with you. But hey, man, we appreciate you joining in. As always, of course, my name is Harish. This is my boy Tim Wayne. Tim Wayne, how you doing? How are you?
I don't know, man. It's a bittersweet moment, man. We're getting the SEC championship, but that also means that football, as far as college football, is only going to be around for a couple more weeks. Even though 6 weeks is a long time, in hindsight, with holidays, the hustle and bustle of the end of the year, you know, people traveling for the holidays, Christmas, and all this, the end of the year. And I don't know, man. It's like, oh man, it felt like September, like just a blink ago. You blink, and it felt like it was September. You know, we were just starting out at the beginning of the year. Now it's getting
gone by really fast.
Yes, now it's getting close to the end.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, I said this is going to be the greatest college football season of all time.
Right.
Has it lived up to that hype, in your opinion?
Yes, especially after last week. Yeah. The
I would
upsets
agree.
that happened, Syracuse losing beating Miami. Clemson losing to South Carolina on a last play, but still managing to get into the ACC championship. SMU coming into the ACC, looking as good as they did. FSU, especially after last year, they felt like they could win a national title. They come in, they get another high-profile quarterback. They don't win. They lose all of their recruits, and now they're like under a lot of scrutiny right now.
Yeah.
Colorado,
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State definitely not.
I didn't see that coming from a mile away, man. That was absurd.
We definitely thought that Oklahoma State would be in the driver's seat to get to the Big 12 championship. But Colorado has taken over that. So Colorado's sitting at the cusp of possibly getting into the playoff. We don't necessarily know. Of course, if they are they officially out of the Big 12?
They're out. Yeah. They're out. So Big 12 title game is Iowa State versus
right.
Arizona State.
Arizona
State. Right. There you go. That's a surprise. Yeah, I mean, so much has gone on this season. This has been a wild season.
Yeah.
Every college football scene isn't as wild, but I think the implications behind the season this year made it that much more wilder and it made it that much more exciting.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So yeah, I mean, we got so much to discuss, and of course, National Signing Day was yesterday. We had a wild day yesterday, National Signing Day. I'm gonna go ahead and put a ticket down here, just showing you guys all the guys that have committed or not, no longer committed, officially signed. These are going to be your guys that are going to be here in the spring, right? Your early enrollees. A lot of those guys are going to be on this list. These are the guys that will be here in the spring, ready to go for spring football. The number one guy to look out for on this list, obviously, is Jonah Williams. Because Jonah Williams could actually, because he's technically enrolled, he could play baseball this season.
Yeah, I would not be surprised that he play baseball.
I think that was the plan.
Yeah, he'll play baseball for sure. I mean, of course, being that it's his first year in the SEC, he'll definitely want to compete. He'll definitely want to be on that field. And we'll see what they do. I'm really kind of excited for baseball, especially what they've done. They picked up a lot of recruits. They flipped a lot of guys. Sloss has come over from A&M after having an impressive first season at A&M?
2. I think.
Well,
Oh
two.
no, I think it was 3. I think he had
3.
3.
Okay. Well, within a short period of time, he's still done very, very well to get A&M to the college baseball playoff. The College World Series is one of the funnest sporting events you could possibly watch. Even if you don't have a dog in a fight, it's fast paced. It's really quick. So if you blink, you might mess up and miss in a game, man. You could fall asleep, take a nap, and the game will be over. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Lady Longhorns went down in a blaze of glory tonight.
In overtime.
Suffering their first loss against Notre Dame. So shout out to them and what they're doing and the recruits that they're bringing in. So it's a good time, man. Again, it's just a good time to be a Longhorn fan. As we narrow down the football season, we'll definitely pick up with the basketball season. There's definitely some shining spots, especially within men's and women's basketball. They're both star players and guys we'll see at the next level for sure within the next couple of months. So just keep an eye out for that as we wind down on football. Football just takes over because it's so much stuff on a grand scale.
Yeah. Also, UT volleyball starts the NCAA tournament this weekend.
Right.
So if you guys are in the Austin area watching the SEC title game, don't forget to head out to Gregory Gym.
That's going to be packed. I wouldn't be surprised if that game is already sold out, just because of how good Texas volleyball has been within the last 10 to 15
years. Going for that three-peat, man.
Yeah, looking for the three-peat. I don't know if it'll be the first, but it's definitely a thing. So man, we got an action-packed weekend. Awards are going out.
Finalists are being announced, and we'll talk about a couple of them on the Texas side. We can probably say that for the end.
Yep.
But we're all here for one thing and one thing only. And before we get to that, let's pay some bills as always. FanBattleSports.com, FanBattleSports.com, where you can get the latest and greatest from the AFC South, including the Colts, Titans, Texans, Jaguars. FanBattleSports.com. If you're interested in signing up for your own show, hit the contact us button, hit us up, let us know. We'll get you set up with everything you need. FanBattleSports.com. Follow us on Twitter at LHFanBattle. On the road to 3,000. We are almost there. I think we're tipping 2,900. So follow us on Twitter. Tim had a very genius. This is for the guy that talks not a lot of smack. Tim had a very, very good post the other day, showcasing the achievements of our little brother versus our achievements. Do
you know how much engagement that has got? First off, I had to, for the first time ever, I've never been in a situation where we've had posts, reach like 10,000, maybe 20,000 people. But
we've had a post reach 1 million.
That post has reached 1 million people.
we have had posts reach 1 million.
So that was
a lot. Yeah, that was fun.
That was the first time I've seen anything like that. I know a lot of people around me at the time that I made the post. I didn't think nothing of it, man. I thought it was funny that it was just like it was just a raw edit, right? Like it was just a
Yeah,
raw picture of just a number, just the amount of years that A&M had been in the league, how long, like what they achieved, and then just at the very bottom, like at the very, very bottom, it just has Texas 2024 SEC championship. And
that's crazy.
I thought that was hilarious. And boy, did my phone blow up. I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure you probably keep your stuff on mute just because of how much
Yeah.
stuff that you have on your phone. I'm not a mute guy, but
My thing's always on silent. Well, because I'm always in meetings all day, so I can't have my phone like kind of going off.
even like I can't. It's very rare, even if I was in a meeting or whatever the case may be. It's very rare that like for me to just shut the phone completely down. Like
Well,
I'll put it on vibrate and stick it in my pocket.
yeah,
But as far as like mute, like
yeah,
nothing, no.
yeah.
That
Well, I
makes
mean, it
that
sits
makes
on this cube, right? So I've got the little cube that charges like your
that's actually
AirPods,
very cool though. Like
your
how it
watch.
charges,
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
So it just sits here. It sits here all. So it's right next to me.
Right,
I see it all the time, so I know
right,
like if something is going on. But
right.
yeah, it's it stays on silent. Um, but yeah, I mean, that was a very clever post. I'll give it to you. That was smart. That was smart. Um, and yeah, it did really well. So follow us on Twitter. Of course, we made the announcement not first, but we tweeted out all the announcements as we got them in. I think next year we're going to try to do some different things for recruiting. We're going to come up with some stuff for us to hopefully. We're both of us are kind of dabbling into editing and photo editing and video editing. So
Yeah,
I'm
photo
hoping,
edit, sure. That's
yeah,
that's definitely new to me. Video editing, I feel way more comfortable. The photo
yeah,
edits and in Hayes
oh
concepts
yeah.
are pretty
We aren't
insane.
Hayes Fawcett, right? But we'll try to do some things, and I'd like to do some new things next year. And so hopefully with recruiting next year, we kind of do some different things. So stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter, of course. Follow us on TikTok at
Yep.
Longhorn Fan Battle. If you guys are on TikTok now, come join us here on Twitter. Just click on the link. On YouTube, just go and click on the link on our profile and join us there because we cannot figure. I can't figure out how to get us live on Twitter through StreamYard. So this is what we got. So
Yep.
speaking of YouTube, follow us on YouTube, Longhorn Fan Battle. We are currently at 58 subscribers, and we appreciate it. I would really like for us to get to like 675, right? Let's just say
Yeah.
75 by the end of the season. I don't want to stretch our goals out. 75, that'll be really awesome. We'd really appreciate it. We're really trying to grow our YouTube platform. It's not where we started, but it's where we want to definitely grow the
It'd
channel.
be awesome if you guys could give us a Christmas gift and hit that subscribe button so that by the time we get to Christmas, we're looking at like 185, 95, somewhere up in there,
75, man. Just give me 75.
The closer to 100, the better.
Me,
we're not begging and choosing. We'll take what we can get, but that subscribe button helps us out a lot for sure.
75 is 17 more subscribers.
So 30 more.
Yeah. So get us 17, and then we'll continue to talk. So
Yeah.
But anyway, either way, subscribe, comment in the show. You can comment on our live shows. And we appreciate all the new follows this week on Twitter. It's been a blast to be able to bring this news to you guys. We love the Longhorns.
Shout out
we
to
love the
people
Longhorns just as much as y'all do.
Yep.
And we appreciate all the support. So, alrighty, Tim. We had a post game show on Sunday, right? So I don't want to dive too deep onto Texas A&M. Yeah, I watched earlier today. I got a chance to watch like the Texas Game Day show that they do on Longhorn Network on the Longhorn Network app.
Yep.
And what I saw or what I heard from the one thing we didn't talk about. Do you remember the game day? Did you remember College Game Day from last week? Obviously, I'm sure you do. The Sark interview from College Game Day.
Mm-hmm.
he had this look on his face, specifically when Pat McAfee was asking him about, hey, the Texas, these guys here, they seem to hate you. And
Yeah.
he didn't even like change his face.
No.
That's how I knew this team was ready. That's how I knew that this team was going to win that game.
Yeah.
That level of like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's even a poker face. Is like focus and culture and intent and business, whatever you want to call it. I think this team is actually ready to make a deep run. And we'll talk about like Saturday, obviously, but that gives me a lot of confidence in the run that this team is about to make.
I'll give you even one that's even better. When Texas was at Arkansas and they were interviewing Texas, and they go to Sark and they say, "Hey, well, Coach, it seems like Arkansas really, really hates you." And Sark, I don't know if he was being. It seemed very candid. I don't think he was being facetious at all, but he was basically saying like, I don't know where this one-sided hate came from, but it's clearly like one-sided. Like maybe I don't. Again, this was a little bit before I can understand football, like football from a standpoint of like this is a sport that I like.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know about the history again about Arkansas and Texas, but he was very candid, and he was just like, I don't know what Texas did for Arkansas to hate Texas, but like we just want to come in here and handle business. And that to me says a lot about a coach, because uh most coaches won't let their personality kind of shine through. And I could feel the confidence within Sark when he mentioned that. And
Yeah.
that was very telling, because any other time, you get a canned response, right? You get, oh well, Arkansas is a tough team, blah blah blah. Like, he was just very candid. And again, he showed respect to Arkansas, but he was also
Yeah.
just very candid. Like, I don't know what these guys' problem is. Like, I don't know. And I respect that, because you get those sound bites. You get those sound bites all the time, but it could come off kind of like arrogant. And then that didn't come across arrogant at all. It just came across like really confident in his team. Like, he's like, I don't know what these guys' problem is, but we're gonna come in here. We're gonna do what we can to get the win and get out of here. So
He almost said it like a joke too, right? And like he meant to be funny about it.
right. But I think in the moment, I think he was shocked that he was asked that question on College Game Day. But at the same time, you got to kind of know who you're dealing with, right? You got Pat McAfee, Nick Saban, Desmond Howard, and those guys there asking like legitimate questions, like just questions that they want to know. And shout out,
Top level college people, right?
right,
Guys that played and coach. Obviously, Nick Saban, the greatest to ever do it.
right,
Desmond Howard, the best two-way player ever to play college football. Oh, actually, maybe I was at it. Desmond Howard, Heisman Trophy winner, defensive player. Pat McAfee was a great punter at West Virginia.
yeah,
It has now become the new ESPN fiddler. Reese Davis, like the
yeah,
Chris
dog.
Ballard, the greatest host in ESPN history. Like
Yeah,
these
no,
guys
so
are like awesome.
these are
Like
iconic
these
guys
are
in their own right.
icons
Yeah,
that
yeah,
have changed the sport for the better over the last, combined 30, 40 years.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I think that that face, that interview, I took beyond A&M, and I said, hey, this isn't to us. It's not about A&M. To Sark, it wasn't about A&M.
right,
And I don't want to like put a cliche over this or anything. A&M to Sark and his team, and he mentioned it on Texas Game Day, just to bring it all back.
mm-hmm.
How he talked about, look, we were just there to play a game, right? Like,
right.
and that wasn't any disrespect to A&M. Like, Texas has a different mentality coming into this game. A&M is where Texas was when Sark started, right?
Yeah, for sure. They've had a
They
really
they
good
they
year,
were
though. They've
in a
got something to
spot
build
where
off
it's like,
of.
yeah, nobody expects it A&M to even be in the scenario that they were in going into that Texas game. But could A&M take that step that nobody expected them to take? Remember when we were 8-4, and we're like,
Mhm.
man, we actually have a chance to like win 10 games this year and
Yeah,
not next year. And we just couldn't do it.
right.
That's where A&M is right now.
Yeah,
Except they're
A&M,
they're there a
A&M's
year before anybody thought.
A&M's got they've got some losses on their record. Some more self inflicted than anything. I definitely feel that there was a couple of teams that they should have beat.
Yeah.
Outside of Notre Dame, Notre Dame was more of a kind of a you got a more experienced team coming in to your home, and or that wasn't even a home game. That was a neutral site. You got a more experienced team in Notre Dame, and you have a more experienced quarterback. A&M is they've really had a problem trying to chase that ghost of Johnny Manziel and finding a quarterback. They just
Yeah.
haven't been successful with it. And I think really honestly at this point in time, they got a real opportunity to like do something with this quarterback if they're able to keep him. Now, I haven't heard any rumors or anything about him possibly jumping in the transfer portal, but it's still
Connor Wakeman is jumping into the portal.
well, yeah, we know about Connor, but as
Oh,
far as
you mean
Reed, Marcel
Reed?
Reed,
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah,
no.
I,
He's
I,
the
I don't
starter next year.
I don't see. I really see that they have an opportunity to do something really special with him. Depending on what they do with the offense, I don't necessarily know. They definitely got to get some more receivers in there. They're going to be healthy at running back, obviously, with their return of what's his name? I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. But him returning from an ACL injury, I believe he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
So they're in a good spot offensively. Of course, defensively, they always find a way to get some kind of freak,
Always
from
get the
they
defensive line.
always, they always get some type of freaky defensive
Well,
lineman or
that's the
defensive
one
tackle.
thing. The defensive line there is. I will give credit to like their recruiting that's always stayed. For some reason, defensive linemen love to go at A&M. I don't get it. I
Don't know.
just
I
don't
don't know what
understand.
that's about. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. They killed in the recruiting this week by getting up some big time defensive tackles. Man, like they always got some type of freaking nature. So, and it will be fine. Again, looking forward to the class next year. They're going to be in Austin, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
It'll be at that point what 14, 15 years that they haven't been in Austin. So looking
Yeah.
forward to that. So yeah, man. Shout out to the defense and again, shout out to the offense. One thing I'd like to mention is that Texas was able to um, hold A&M to like almost nothing offensively, like literally almost nothing. That's really, really good. Again, offensive shutout outside of that Quinn giving away that pick. They shined on every aspect.
Sark also mentioned, hey, we were a couple of silly turnovers away from this being a blowout.
Could have been.
He literally said just that.
Yeah.
He said we were a couple of goofy turnovers away from this being a blowout. Like
Mm-hmm.
he said, this could have easily been 31-0.
Yeah. It could have definitely
And it
been a
should have been.
situation like
It should have
that.
been. Texas should have scored on those last two drives in the red zone. And I think if they'd done that, then that would have put like the fear into a lot of teams and like, oh wow, this team they're peaking at the right. I still
Right.
think they're peaking at the right time.
Oh,
So
I believe so too. And come to mind, like again, I can't stress enough about like they for the media and for a lot of people to say that Texas hadn't played anybody. A&M, regardless of how we feel about, they're still a very physical team. They hit just as hard as any other team. We've seen what they can do against some of these other top echelon teams. Again, it's really just quarterback play and like not shooting yourselves in the foot.
yeah.
So they could
Any other final thoughts on Low Bro before we move on?
no. Not at all. I think we should give them a lot more credit than I think they should give a lot more credit for the way that they handled A&M than what they should have.
DG says Quinn had A&M plus 9.5. and he still lost his own bet. Dang, that's crazy. All right. I think kind of like where this team is, where we are, how we've played over the last few weeks. Let's talk about round 2.
Yeah.
There's one thing that sticks out to me about this game.
What's up?
It's actually 2 things.
Okay.
Number 1, that offensive line's not going to play that poorly again. I
don't think so either. I think
7 sacks was crazy. This offensive line is not going to give up 7 sacks this game. Now, here's the thing. Do they give up 3 or 4? Maybe, but how many of those 3 or 4 are on the offensive line and not? I think an uneasy Quinn forced this offensive line maybe to overcommit to things that they normally don't. And since that game, Quinn's health has gotten better.
Yep.
Minus the ankle, right? And I actually don't think the ankle really impacted him at all, except for that second half because of the moment, right?
Right.
And Quinn's health comparatively to the offensive line, I think has meshed. Last week, that offense was nearly flawless until those 2 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And this team ran at will. Quinn had some beautiful throws last week.
Yep.
That's where I want to start. And we kind of talked about this.
Yep. We did.
One thing I want to see this game that I don't think we saw the last game, I want to see Quinn test the secondary this game.
Put the ball in the air.
Georgia's secondary is not very good.
Okay.
If we thought A&M secondary was bad, especially like deep, Georgia's secondary is probably just as bad.
Might be a little worse. You know, they do have.
It might be worse.
It might be worse only because they have some guys departing in the transfer portal. And when you depart in the transfer portal, I don't know if you get to play because essentially you're dropping out of school. So
I don't know how that works. I still don't understand like how the whole transfer portal thing works from like a eligibility perspective, because technically they've entered the portal, but the portal hasn't opened, and the portal technically doesn't open till Monday.
The portal doesn't open till Monday. I'm pretty sure these athletes have probably already taken a final or something like a final.
Yeah.
So that they can focus, you know, during the break, they can go home. They can study. I would assume right now, like between last week and now, they've probably taken some type of final. And so they'll be able to go in, okay, I'm going to leave or I'm going to stay, and then make that decision. Because like I said, you basically drop out. And then once that portal opens, you know, you're pretty much done. You're leaving. So that's your final game.
Yeah.
Some people may not want to play that final game so that they don't end up getting hurt or maybe even potentially protecting their draft stock. I've heard rumblings about some kids not participating in the college in their conference championship simply because they don't want to hurt themselves. They don't want to get hurt. So it's even it used to just be the bowl season where they weren't even playing. Now it's kind of trickling up to the conference championship, which is kind of scary. So I don't feel confident in Georgia's secondary at all. I don't. So, I'm hoping there's a healthy Bond. I'm hoping Bond's healthy because he was a little dinged up too, and that kind of showed in A&M versus A&M.
Yep.
I think I thought Bond and Quinn's like chemistry was a little bit off, and that showed. Yeah, I think it's because of those injuries. So, what are your thoughts on that? Where are you? I mean, clearly we're thinking that the best opportunity for them to win the game is to pass the ball, but Georgia has looked really bad especially against run defense as well. They have not looked that great.
I'm looking at CFPstats.com, which kind of like
Mhm.
allows you to compare how the teams kind of stack up. Georgia in rushing yards uh, is actually kind of like middle of the pack. They've given up 1,600 rushing yards,
Okay.
which isn't great, but
That's
it's
not
not bad.
terrible. That's not
Yeah.
terrible.
They've given up. Texas has only given up 1,200.
Okay.
Uh, and I think this is all games, so this is like conference and non-conference.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine it's probably all games. Yeah.
However, Texas only gives up 3.99 yards per play on
Mhm.
the ground, which is really good. Which means the teams
That's
are running
very
a
good.
lot
Yeah.
to get to that 1,200. Georgia gives up almost 5.
Excuse me?
They give up 5.15
Oh, that's terrible, dude.
yards per play on the ground, right?
And so the reason why, and for you guys out there, listening again, we appreciate you listening to this tonight. But if Georgia is giving up 5 yards of play, right? What was the exact number? 5.5?
5.11.
5.1.
5.11, 5 point,
Okay.
something like that.
So
5.11.
usually on the defense, break this down for you guys very simple, real quick. You want to play in we back when I was little, when we played in threes, right? We wanted to average anywhere from 3 to 4 yards of play. The reason why we want to average at least 3 to 4 yards of play, because if we get 4 yards and then we get 3 yards and we're in a third down situation, we're at 3rd and 3 and not 3 and 8 or
Yeah.
3 and 9 or 3rd and 10. So we always wanted to say, hey, we on our first play of the drive or on that first down, we definitely want to try to at least get 3 to 4 yards so that we can put our offense in a better situation to get the first down versus trying to make something out of nothing now and dealing with third and longs. Now, when you're averaging 5.5 yards a carry or per carry, that's nothing. You get 1st and 5 or 2nd and 5, you can do whatever you want. You you can do whatever you want because you're averaging 5 yards a run.
Yeah.
That's a that's a first down every 2 plays. They
Yeah.
have
I mean,
that
it's
one
just
play to
math.
do something, to throw
Yeah.
something at Georgia to throw them off, keep them honest. So
It,
that's
yeah.
very important.
So this is I actually really like this site. Because you can break it down any which way you want, right? So in the month of November, Texas is only giving up 2.86 yards per carry.
Right.
Georgia's still giving up about 4.4, which isn't as bad as 5.1, but it's still like essentially giving up a first down every 3 plays.
Right.
Right. If you average that out. And probably like 2 points something, right?
Mhm.
So I found that very interesting. The passing defenses, Texas has the best pass defense in the country. Like that's not a
Hands
doubt.
down.
That is clear cut as day. And even in the month of November,
Yep.
they've given up only 638 yards. Georgia has given up almost 1,000 yards in the month passing.
That's not good, dog. That's not
All right,
good.
that's near the bottom of the conference.
Right.
And Texas has only given up 1 touchdown. Georgia has given up 5. So I think the path to victory is throwing the ball, right?
Right.
And they're giving up 6 yards. They're giving up about 6, and actually like yards per.
Are
per
they really? Is
pass
it?
play is about the same.
Let me ask you this: is it really the path when you're giving up 5 yards on the ground or rip with the way Trey's been running, the way Jaden Blue has been
No, I guess you're right. Yeah,
collecting
I guess that means
ankles
their
in the
offensive
open
line is
field?
playing well. Yeah. So let's talk about Trey Wisner because he is going to be the bell cow, right?
Right.
Trey Wisner had 30 carries for almost 200 on 188. He got 30 carries and almost averaged 6 yards per carry. That's insane.
He's
It's not going
done.
to be cold because you're in a dome, but
He's
this
he's
time of
done.
year,
He's done
huh?
phenomenal.
Yeah, this time of year, where maybe Texas, honestly, Texas, if things go the way we think it goes and they win this weekend, they're not going to play outside. But still,
Yeah.
you have that outside mentality, right?
Right.
The likelihood, even if Texas were to lose, they're not going anywhere except here, right? They'd come home,
Yeah.
which it's not like cold in December. It's probably like
It's
maybe
football.
50s,
It's football weather in December.
like 40s to 60s.
It's football weather. It was 61 degrees today.
Yeah, it's
It,
like, but
like
that's not
it's
like having to go up north and play in the 20s.
right. No, we're not talking like straight up winter. Like it's
Yeah,
winter everywhere else.
yeah,
We have a mild winter, extremely mild, and we have extreme fall, summer, and spring. It's in January after that one little not snowstorm, but after that one little cold front that we get in January, it'll be 75 degrees.
yeah. I mean, life will be back in grand again, right?
Right.
So, um, the path. I think the path to victory bodes well for Texas because they like this to me shows like defensively, Texas is hands down the better defense. Like I
Right.
have zero doubts about that, right?
Right.
If you look offensively though, and we talk about like what is the path to victory by looking at how they're producing on offense, um, Texas, which again, I'm only looking at what's recent, not the entire season.
Mhm.
But in the month of December, right, or the month of November, Texas had the fourth highest rushing offense. And well, actually, no. It wasn't the
Who's
fourth
at the top?
highest.
Boise State.
Oh, I'm talking about just in the conference.
Oh, okay.
This is just in the conference because we're doing conference versus conference, right?
Right.
Texas had the fourth highest rushing offense in the conference, right? They average almost 5 yards.
That's actually pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's an
The
insane.
only teams that are better are Mississippi State, and they have. So this is the thing: Mississippi State, South Carolina, even in some instances, Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
What do they have that Texas doesn't have? A consistent running quarterback, right? South
Yeah.
Carolina, they have Sellers. He runs the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Mississippi State has Van Buren. He runs the ball a lot. Oklahoma had Jackson Arnold and the other guy who couldn't do diddly squat against Texas. They all those guys. This is like Texas is the most purest running team in the conference, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they use Arch, but they haven't really they don't really use Arch as often as we saw him last week.
Yeah.
Now, does that
Yeah.
change this week? Maybe. But even Quinn is not like nobody looks at Quinn and be like, man, that's Vince Young. Right?
But
nobody's
but
doing that,
but he
right?
got a 30-yard scamper against A&M.
Bro, that dude, I don't know. That dude was walking and got 30 yards. Like,
He
that's
said
how
it's
bad.
21
That's how
degrees
bad
where
that
he's
was.
at. DG, I don't know where you at, brother, but 21 degrees, no sir.
21 degrees sounds terrible, bro.
Yeah, no, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I feel like DG is on like Michigan or something like that. That sounds terrible.
He's got to be a Midwest guy if he's got a Chiefs jersey on.
Oh,
got a
I didn't even.
Chiefs jersey
Yeah,
on.
he's got to be like Kansas City, Nebraska.
Nebraska, I would never go to that school.
I'd
It's
never go to
way
that
too
state.
cold. It's way too cold. And now
I'd
you know
never
what?
go to
The
that
stadium is
state.
beautiful. I would love to go to a Texas Nebraska game. Oh, he said he's in Kansas City. No,
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, he's wearing a Kansas City jersey. That makes sense.
it's too cold.
Hey, DG, why are you up there, bro? I know a lot of people gave flack to Quinn for not being able to get Xavier Worthy the ball. Can you tell Patrick Mahomes to throw an accurate deep ball?
Just put it in the air. Like put it in the
Like,
air
what's
inbounds.
going on over there, bro?
Put it in
Why is
the
he
air
not putting in the?
inbounds.
Yeah.
Put it in the air inbounds.
Why?
I've been talking. I've communicated with a nice young lady about her Chiefs. She's a Chiefs fan, and I've expressed to her how lucky she is to have Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes on the same team because
And they're both relatively still young.
it's
Well,
not
obviously
fair.
Xavier Worthy's really young.
It's not fair.
Also, just stop throwing. Stop telling him to run deep routes. Get him the ball shorter.
Dude, give him some screens, bro.
Those RPOs that y'all run, that should be your RPO guy. But hey,
Man.
I'm not here to help the Chiefs win 3 in a row. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. We're here to talk about the Longhorns. So let's do that. But
What's your
Tell Andy
final
Reid to
thoughts?
grow some
Do you have a score? Do you have a score?
Talking DG?
No, I'm talking about you. Do you have a score for this game?
I do, but I kind of there's a couple things I want to kind of break down.
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead. Let's do it.
I got actually DG. Do you have a score while you're in the chat? Thanks for jumping in and chatting with us. Do you have a score for the game? I'm curious to hear what you say.
Yeah,
Um,
everybody that's listening, if you can drop in your scores, let us know what you think the scores are going to be, because I'm kind of interested. Again, the media is back on Texas out of nowhere.
I don't
Remember,
want them.
2 weeks ago,
Stay over there.
2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, y'all are against Texas. Now all of a sudden they go in and they handle A&M, and now it's just like, oh well, Texas is back and they look
They're ready to roll. They look like they're ready to make a run.
bro, get
And
out
we
of
don't
here.
need we don't need that energy over here, bro.
Get out of here, bro. I don't want to hear nothing about you and how Texas is back and all that. I don't want to hear that, bro. Because 2 weeks ago, Texas was
Done.
there was people that were saying that Texas didn't even belong in the college football playoff.
Right. And now they're locked. That doesn't make any sense to me. I do want to call attention to one thing when it comes to passing offense.
Yeah, for sure.
On both Texas and Georgia. So Texas right now is fifth in touchdown to interception ratio.
Mm-hmm.
10 Quinn Ewers has only thrown one interception, and that was the goofy one last week. If that interception does not happen, Quinn is a perfect. He might even be 11 or 12-0 for the month, which is insane. On the flip side, Carson Beck is 13-4 for the month, but Carson Beck also played an FCS. Quinn Ewers played a full.
Beck has given up the ball in some very, very crucial times. Again, he has the arm to make every single throw.
He's really good. I don't get it.
If he gets polished up, like for real, he could be really nice at the next level.
Oh yeah.
He's got the
his
arm.
Best game was against Tennessee, and I thought he was phenomenal against Tennessee.
Yeah, he looked really good at against Tennessee.
If we get Tennessee Carson Beck versus Michigan Quinn Ewers, that'll be a game for the ages.
DG has an update of what he thinks the score is going to be. You ready for this? Oh. 28-24 Texas. I think there's a crucial turnover at the end of the game. Ooh.
I don't think Beck gives us a crucial turnover. I think Beck gives us multiple
turnovers. We'll get to that. We'll because I have a scenario. I have a really, really crazy scenario, and I want to hear what you think. But yeah. Let's finish, because what I have to say is probably going to be a hot take. It's probably going to be a hot take.
Okay. Let's see. I don't think there's any other stats I want to go over here. I thought those two things were very, very interesting.
Okay.
So what was your hot take?
Okay, so this is my hot take is really more centered around what I think the score is going to be.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the same game that we just watched last week at A&M is going to be the exact same game that we're going to see this coming Saturday. I don't see anybody putting up 30 points. I don't see anybody putting up any like ridiculous numbers except on the ground. I don't see Quinn. I can see Quinn putting up at least 250, maybe 3 if we're lucky. But as far as I'm concerned, the touchdowns will be scored to me on the ground or by the defense. Okay. I don't see any receiving. Maybe a Gunnar Helm touchdown, maybe. But from what
you don't think he has any touchdowns?
No, dog, not this game, bro.
You think he throws any picks?
Who, Gunnar? Or you mean Quinn?
Yeah.
I don't think he throws picks. I just don't think that he gets the ball in the end zone. I think this is going to be a Trey Wisner game. I think we go. I think Sark is going to follow the formula and do the exact same thing over again.
You know what I think
You
is going to happen? I think Sark blitzkriegs Georgia the way they did us. I think he's going to throw the kitchen sink up front and score as fast as he can up front.
I respect that. I respect that. But here, okay, so hear me out. This is why I think this is going to be a different ball game. One, I think what they want to do, I think what Texas wants to do, um, is again go into a situation because this is basically a home game for Georgia, right? This is in Atlanta. It's the SEC championship. It's a home game. That Georgia Dome or not Georgia Dome, I forget what the name of it. Smoothie King Dome, whatever they call it, is going to be literally packed out with red. Luckily, Texas does travel very well. So
Georgia's not that far from Texas.
Right. Georgia's not that far from Texas. It's a couple hours on a flight. And we literally have Longhorn fans all over the world. So there's that. But I just feel like in this particular game, I think Sark is going to make a point to be more physical than Georgia, just like Georgia was more physical versus Texas this last game. The only reason why I feel like Georgia even had an opportunity in that game is because their defensive line was just way, way, way more physical. And they got punched them out. And I feel like Sark is going to try to do the exact same thing. And he's going to try to oppose his will on the ground. Of course, you will get your Gunnar Helms involved. You'll get your Boltons and you'll get your Ron Wingles and things of that nature. I just don't see them putting the ball in the air to win the game. I just feel like this is going to be a ground and pound game. I'm expecting Trey Wisner to get at least 25 touches to 30.
Oh, I definitely think he gets 25. I think the other thing they do differently in this game to keep that Georgia rush honest, I think you're going to see a lot of screens. Georgia was ready for a lot of like the reverse screens and stuff. I think we're going to see screens we haven't seen in a long time.
Right. I'm expecting
that little kickback screen from the tight end.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Tight end screens, wide receiver screens, bubble screens, all types of screens. But I also think that that's going to be an extension of the run, and I also believe that Trey is going to have one of those games again where they might even like reconsider and maybe throw something out there for Trey to come to an award ceremony. Not that he's going to win it, but like, hey, we want to extend the offer just because of the he's had a great month of football. Taking nothing against old buddy in Oklahoma. I mean Boise State. Nothing against him. He's done a phenomenal job and he's had a phenomenal career. But Trey has looked like the best. Outside of Gentry, he looks like the best running back in the country. I'm not saying that from bias. I'm saying that from watching this man run the ball. He's run the ball for over 60 times, and he's averaged over 4 to 5 yards a carry in the last 2 weeks.
It's crazy to think Trey Wisner has 800 yards in the season.
And he's not a starter. He's not a starter.
He's a third string running back, but hey, don't worry. Oklahoma has excuses as to why they can't run the ball and play offense. But that's not our problem. That's theirs.
I want to finalize that by capping off what I think my score is going to be.
Okay.
My score is kind of similar to last week's, but I'm going to have Texas winning 10-7.
Whoa, you're going old school. So you think like Sark's point is, so you want to play. So you think the point is you want to play old school SEC football? Let's play old school SEC football. Oh wow, that's.
I struggled between 10-7 and 17-10. On a higher end, I'll go on a higher end and say maybe 10-17. Yeah. But for some reason, I feel like this is going to be just a old school SEC matchup. Like
Wow.
I think Texas is going to try to prove to be the more physical team. So
Really?
I will give some wiggle room. Again, like I said, I struggle with that 7-3 to 10-17. I'll push it to 10-17. That gives an opportunity for Georgia to score, possibly get maybe a game tying field goal. I think Texas pulls out in the long run again by that running game and being able to get Quinn in a rhythm very quickly and effectively. I expect to see a higher paced moving uh game plan against Georgia in the beginning, and then eventually establishing that run, getting Trey going, and then them chewing up that clock.
That's wow. Okay. Huh.
10-17. There it is. I'll
10 to
keep it.
7, huh?
No. I'm gonna go on my I had two scores. I had
Yeah.
7-3. I'm gonna go 10-17. Just on that
Okay.
higher end.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay. 17-10.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see this going that way. I see this as Sark. I see this as Sark doing what he did against A&M and coming out blazing.
Okay.
And he's going to force Georgia to do, now that he's seen how Georgia may want to attack Texas. It's not like Georgia has all these like crazy skill players on their defense. Like they've got two really good outside edges. That's really it.
Their edges are fantastic.
They're phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
I'm banking that Kelvin Banks plays again, and he's going to take this game personally. He's not going to play as poorly as he did that first game. One thing that I am taking into account is this offensive line will not play the way that they played that first game.
No, that's why I think that's why I'm so adamant about them being more physical.
Yeah,
they got boat raced last couple weeks ago.
So I think the run game opens up, and because the run game opens up, I think Quinn's going to be able to throw the ball all over this field at will.
Okay.
Because that secondary is not good. Georgia's second, and Quinn didn't really have an opportunity to take advantage of it because the offensive line didn't play well.
Right.
Which means he was coming off the injury. He was getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
I think they took advantage of the fact that Quinn was coming back from injury, and after watching last week and not seeing him on the injury report this week, I think is a great sign. Now, is that gamesmanship? I don't know. We'll see. Right. But I actually think he played really well against A&M minus those two plays.
Minus the two plays, I thought he played a phenomenal game.
Yeah, and I thought he made some unreal throws in some tight.
That throw to Jaden Blue in the back of the end zone was probably one of his best throws that he's ever thrown.
The deep ball to Matthew Golden in between the safety and the corner.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was good too. That was good too.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
But he had a couple throws in that game that I'm like, oh wow,
yeah.
And he did that on a bum ankle.
There was definitely some wow moments for me from Quinn, and that's why I can't really turn my back on Quinn like other people have, because Quinn can turn it on.
He has but that's the thing. Like people are so worried about like his passion and his energy, like the arch energy, like after he scores the touchdown. Like that's going to be fun for the next 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like Quinn's demeanor and his way of like taking things has its own killer instinct in a sense, because like his killer instinct to me is like, dude, I don't care where we go, I'm going to play ball. And I might not show it all the time or the way you want me to show it, but trust me, I'm a cold-blooded killer too.
Yeah.
And I think Quinn's career, as we look at his career at Texas, it was hindered by injury. Here's the thing: if Quinn doesn't get injured, he's the best player in college football. I think so. Wholeheartedly believe that.
I think so, especially last year. I think the way he was going about last year, especially after that Alabama game, he looked phenomenal. He looked
because every time it looked like he was about to take steps forward, an injury occurs, and it's almost like he has to he needs like a game or two to like rebuild that.
Right.
He gets hurt against was it Florida that he got hurt against? Oh no, Kentucky. No, was it Florida? Yeah, the oblique. It was like UTSA.
Yep.
Yeah, UTSA. He gets the bye week. He's okay against Oklahoma. He's okay against Vanderbilt, and then against
Right.
Florida, he was fine.
Right.
He needed a couple games, and then he gets hurt again against, and then he was okay against Georgia, right? And then he
Right.
was unreal against Florida,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he gets hurt again, right? The ankle, and
Ankle injured. Yeah. Yeah. Man, we've gone like
but then he gets the bye week, and then he was great against Kentucky. He gets hurt again, and I think that ankle is just like, oh, it hurt because it was in the moment kind of thing. You know how you have like those
yeah,
ankle
yeah,
first,
yeah.
were in the moment, and I think they probably just pumped him up a lot. So with that being said, I think Sark's going to come out more aggressive. I don't think there's going to be a feeling out process for Sark.
Okay.
I think the
Think
filling
Sark
out
is gonna be
process is
way
going
more
to be like,
aggressive.
yeah, I think he's going to be way more aggressive, and I think Sark gets what he needs to do now against Kirby Smart,
Okay.
and to like for him, it's I need to take the first punch and not Kirby,
Right.
and
Okay.
I see him doing that. I have Texas winning this game 30-20.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I have Texas winning
What?
this game 30-20.
Okay. Okay. So
Here,
all right. All right.
let's talk through it.
Okay.
They're going to score a lot in the first half. That opening
Texas
script
or
might be one of the
Texas or
best
Georgia?
openings.
Who's gonna
Yeah,
score? Texas or Georgia?
Texas is going to. I think Texas gets the ball first and they score on the very first drive, and
Okay.
they're gonna make a statement.
Okay.
This is just the mindset. Looking at Sark, looking at the way this team has played over the last few weeks,
Yep.
they're gonna ride that defense. I just don't think Carson Beck is that good, man. I'm sorry. Like he had that great moment against Tennessee, but if you look at his entire season, what he's done against like top rated defenses,
Right.
mine is even Tennessee. He had a few moments of like iffy. He just hasn't been good.
Right.
And
For sure.
and and I look at the Tennessee game as an anomaly versus the normal. And when I look at Quinn, I can get more moments of good, and I
Okay.
can get more moments of good from Carson Beck. And I just think
Yeah, Carson Beck has not been that great this
he's
year.
not a good. I think he destroyed his Carson Beck to me as an NFL prospect is like a 6 shot.
Oof. I
Right?
I don't think the amount of interceptions, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like he will
12
get
is
picked up, but
crazy.
it's gonna be late. It's gonna
Yeah.
be super late.
And this is the best. This is the best passing offense. And also, my forget about Carson Beck. Those receivers are not good. They have the most drops in
They
the
got the most
country.
drops in the league, right?
In the country,
In the country,
not
like
just
over.
in the country. Like, dude, last week against Georgia Tech, they dropped. Carson Beck actually threw some dimes, and they dropped them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find a way, and I have to outweigh. Does this O line get outplayed again, which I
Okay.
don't see happening, or is it more likely that Carson Beck outplays Quinn Ewers?
I think. Let me
Or
ask you
or
this.
sorry, or
Let me
is
ask
it?
you this real
Yeah,
quick, real quick. We know that Quinn had a rough start at the beginning of the game, right? That first game. He gets hurt. They try to, bring him back in, whatever. Do you think Quinn had a better game against Beck even in the first round, in that first go?
no, they
'Cause
both were terrible,
I
and I
think they
think
were
Carson
both
Beck was
terrible,
better.
but I think if the tables were turned and Quinn had given up that many interceptions in the red in like basically their end zone, I think Texas gets blown out. I think again, the hype of the game, the hype of that defensive line coming in and just basically stifling that offensive line puts Texas in a pickle.
Yeah, I think they were stunned, right?
Yeah,
I
for
I
sure. I think they
honestly
got
do
rocked.
think
Yeah,
they were
for sure.
stunned. Yeah, they were rocked for sure. But I don't think I think Carson Beck was better in that game because he made some of the plays in timely moments.
Mm-hmm.
And Quinn did, right? In that third quarter, the second half of that game is
He
more
looked great
telling
the
of how
second half.
close this matchup is than the first half of that.
I have no idea what happened. I think he really did get a shot. I think they numbed him up.
Yeah.
And they just let him say, hey, go let it rip and see what you can do. because he was finding
Because you got nothing to lose at that point. You're down 23-0.
right.
Like you at that point, you got nothing to lose. It was kind of like Georgia against Bama, right?
Yeah,
They didn't have anything to lose.
right. You're
So
spot on with that. I just think that at that point, even with the rough, shaky start, I think Quinn was able to pull out a better looking body of work even in that second half. And again, I know that sounds so homery, but like you have to literally go back and watch it because it was like the tale of two tapes with two quarterbacks within one. Like
Quinn's
in one.
QBR in that game, by the way, was 20. Carson Beck ended with a 65, but Quinn went
How
25
he
of
threw so many
43
interceptions?
because he had a better completion percentage. Because he made the better timely throws and he threw from, believe it or not, I don't know because I don't understand the ESPN QBR number. I think it's stupid. But
Right.
Quinn actually only had one pick,
Okay.
but he fumbled the ball. I think Quinn fumbled the ball a couple times.
Twice, right?
Yeah, he had 2 fumbles. I think that's more indicative of the impact that game had
Gotcha.
versus Quinn's actual passing. Quinn just threw a bunch of errant throws, right?
Right.
But he did fumble the ball twice.
Mhm.
Quinn did fumble the ball against A&M, but honestly, at that point in the game when he fumbled those balls and when you know A&M couldn't do diddly squat,
Right.
I wasn't concerned because A&M couldn't move the ball against this defense.
Right. A&M
They could barely
was
move
still
an
very
inch,
much
and then it
struggling
was.
to move that ball. Yeah, for sure.
By the way, real quick, going back to that A&M game, did you see the video that showed that Marcel Reed was tipping off what the play was? By the way, he was setting his feet. So there's a couple of videos out there that every time that Marcel Reed's feet were offset, that it was a run play or a pass play, and every time his feet were parallel and they were in a straight line, it was a run. And I think
Not the
Texas
Ryan
defense,
Tannehill. Not the Ryan
Texas defense,
Tannehill.
Texas defense picked up on it, and they completely shut it down. So on the 4th down plays, they knew it was going to be a run because of the way.
Yeah, that's insane, dog. That's
So
insane.
that's interesting. I think this thing. I don't think Quinn turns the ball over twice. I also think there's an Arch
Yeah.
Manning package in here, and
Yeah,
there's a
for sure.
wrinkle to the package we haven't seen.
Got to keep him
There
honest,
is
man.
an Arch Manning passing wrinkle in this package.
Oh, passing, not running.
No. There's going to be like some kind of like Arch Manning option pass in this.
All right.
Because now what are they going to prepare for now?
I could definitely see them doing a Sam Ellinger QB power type situation.
No, I wouldn't even do that because here's the thing. If you know Georgia's secondary is terrible and you can beat them over the top with your speed, if you give them like a read option pass and they crash and now your guys are on an island,
it's game over.
It's game easy money. That is easy money. That's like a free touchdown. Because Arch Manning is way more accurate throwing the deep ball than Quinn Ewers is. And with the speed of any of these receivers, there's going to be an Arch Manning touchdown.
Deep ball is insane. For y'all that follow us on TikTok, I believe Harish has it posted when we went to the orange and white game. You see Quinn put a ball up in the air for, was it Moore or was it for Wingo? It don't matter. It was a 50-yard strike. It was beautiful. I mean, the arch was crazy. All of it. It just looked like some stuff.
All placement. Yeah, it looked so good. Arch Manning's going to throw a touchdown pass in this game. And you know what? That might be. And you know what? That might happen on the future. Because he's gonna pull it out immediately. He's like, okay, so you want to sit here and blitz and you want to crash down? All right, well we'll just take advantage because you guys are all your wide receivers now are playing one-on-one on the outside. You can defend them all. I got 5 of them and a tight end. You're on mute somehow. You're like on mute or something. I can't hear you.
My bad. Yeah, definitely going to be a slobber knocker.
I'll take Texas 30.
That's fine, man. I was not expecting you to go that high. 30. 30's a little bit high for me, but It's all about the
Well,
matchup. It's all about the matchup. I do agree. Whoever gets the 30 first, regardless, is going to win
oh,
this
it's
game.
winning the game for sure.
Whoever gets the 30 is going to win this game. It doesn't matter what quarter. It don't matter what. If especially if these points are coming off of turnovers. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Oh,
Texas. I mean Georgia's deep. Georgia allows 21 a game,
okay, that's fair.
so 30 is not that much further than that. It's a field goal. It's like a couple extra possessions. You get a couple short fields. An
Mhm.
extra field goal and a touchdown isn't out of the question.
Right.
So I mean that's not that far fetched. How many points do you think Texas gives up a game? Like, what do you think their average is if you were to guess?
12.
11. They give up 11 points a game.
Oh, so good.
You watch Third and Longhorn?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Go watch the episode from today, and some of those guys, like Rob Babers, was on there today. Obviously,
Right.
those guys were on there, and they were talking about. It was like, dude, we played on some
I
great
like Derek
defenses.
Johnson, man. Derek Johnson looks
Oh,
good.
Derek Johnson's on
Derek
there.
Johnson looks so good, man. He's like 40, 45, 46 years
I
old,
like
man. He
Derek
looks good, man. He looks real good, man. I really wish he would have been able to get that ring. I understand, coming from Waco, didn't have much. So he had to do what he had to do to get out of there. Go ahead and get him a first round draft pick. Another Kansas City Chief, by the way, who recently got inducted into their Football Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Derek Johnson again. Such a good, it's good to have him back on campus for sure.
Yeah,
And it's
for
good
sure.
to see different generations of Longhorns like
Bring
intermingling.
older players.
Yeah,
Bring
it's
current
pretty dope.
players. It's really cool. Like that.
Yeah.
That show is awesome. I love that show.
Yeah.
But, Alex Okafor's on there.
Yep.
Let's see who else. Ozzie Whitaker's on there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about this defense, and they were like, Derek, dude, like you played on some really good, like historical Texas defenses, and Rod
Yes,
and
he did.
Rod had two.
Yeah.
Right? You think about the 2001 defense. You think about the 2004 defense, right?
Yep.
And they were like, dude, this defense is better than this defense. Like
they
say
think this current
they
defense.
played in the defenses.
They're saying this current Longhorn defense is better
than
than
the ones
both the
they
Rob
played on.
Babers and the Derek Johnson. Better than
ones
the
that they
2001
played on.
Longhorns. Better than
Yes.
2001 and 2003 Longhorns.
Better than 2001 with Corey Redding Longhorns. Yes. That's saying a lot, man. And I think if you look like Corey Redding and those, like they had a great like defensive line, obviously, with Corey Redding and Sean Rogers, and obviously Derek Johnson. But the one thing that Rod called out, it's like the back end of this defense is what takes this defense to another. Because they had some dogs, but when guys that played on some of the best defenses of all time for the school are saying that this defense is better, you also have to think about the style of play that's being played these days versus what's being played. Like they're asked to do a lot more now than they were like back even in 2001. That's 23 years ago at this point.
Absolutely, I agree with that 1,000%.
So with that nuance being there, there's absolutely this defense is better than those defense, and it has a chance to be the best defense to ever come through Texas if they win the whole thing. They win the whole thing.
Okay.
So listen, when you have Longhorn legends that have played on historical Longhorn defenses telling you that this defense is
that's
really damn good,
I definitely gotta watch that. I gotta watch that episode, man.
It's on today. It was on yesterday's episode of Third.
Okay.
They brought Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill's is the host. But yeah, Derek Johnson, Alex Okafor, Ozzie Whitaker. Yeah, I love that show. That show is awesome, and the host of that show is really good.
Yeah,
he's actually really good. He's a cool guy too. So I might actually reach out to him sometime and see if we can get him on our show.
Awesome, that'd be dope.
That guy's really cool. So but yeah, 30-20. I have Texas winning. Which means Texas will roll the will roll the SEC in its first year. Welcome to the new world of college football. Daddy's home.
This playoff bracket is insane. I have my gripes. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna get it out the window. I don't believe that there should be a 9-3 Alabama in the playoff. I'm
What do you
sorry.
put in there? Because after Alabama and after Arizona State, right? It's all three lost teams. Like the only two lost team after that is
Miami.
Miami. And do you think Miami's better than Alabama?
No, but they haven't lost 3 games either.
So here's the thing.
But
It is
okay,
so difficult. It is so difficult. I think losses, like that number of losses that people, unless you're like undefeated,
Mhm.
looking at the number of losses is the most insane thing.
Right.
Let
Yeah,
me tell
I
you
mean,
why.
but the loss, they do take into account the quality of the loss.
They
So
don't though. Actually, if they did, okay, let me say this: if they did look at the quality of the loss,
okay,
Alabama would be out of the playoff. How do you get boat raced by a 5-5 Oklahoma team?
you get boat raced by a 5-5 team.
You should be out. That's their third loss.
Yeah, you should be out. Okay, yeah, you
But I
should.
also don't think Miami should be in because
I don't think
Miami,
Miami should be in, dog. It's so difficult. So what do we do, bro?
South
Again,
Carolina.
I'm not gonna try to find an answer tonight. That's not what I'm looking to do. But I just think that
You got 14 teams. That's what you do. You got 14 teams.
somebody's gonna be upset on Tuesday. We
Well,
we we we
I
will have to do a live.
it's
This
Sunday. It's Selection Sunday.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's election.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So we're going to Dallas on Saturday. We're going to go to that cousin place to watch the game.
Right. You
So
gonna take
I think we're just making a day trip out of it. We'll be back like
you,
Saturday night, so we should be able to do. I don't know what time Selection Sunday is. Let me see. If I
Election
can,
Sunday is usually around like 6:37.
Mm, it tells us on the website.
I okay. When it comes to Alabama, let me look at something. Because okay, let me see this. I have a question in regards to the team. I just want to see where they're ranked first. CFP rankings. Okay.
Oh, it's at 11 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, I thought it would be usually like later
I think they're trying to take advantage and put it in before
before
the
NFL.
NFL starts. Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm cool with that. Okay.
So 11 a.m. Sunday. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll do a live stream
Yeah, for sure.
for sure.
So we got Alabama sitting up there at 9-3 as an 11 seed. Again, they don't play this weekend because they're not in the SEC championship. Do you
Here's a question.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm trying to get at. South Carolina is one of the most dangerous teams in college football. I think
Yeah.
if you put South Carolina in this bracket right now, South Carolina will run amok around whoever is in front of them. They have to me, again, you guys can have your differences. That's perfectly fine. To me, South Carolina has the best defensive line in college football. From end to end, they got the best guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would agree with that.
they got the best guys. So, would you rather have an Alabama team that is basically one dimensional? Again, I don't have no ill will towards Jalen Milroe, but this team that they have right now, I don't know what happened, but they just can't put the ball in the air. So
They only have one wide receiver.
They become one dimensional, and now you're in a situation where like why would you put that one dimensional team again? I understand what it's about. It's really about the dollar. We can fake the funk and talk about whatever we want. This is really about dollars.
Yeah,
And
for
Alabama
sure.
does what? Bring dollars.
Yeah.
That Alabama Notre Dame game is if it works out to be like that, is a
Oh,
classic
that's
matchup.
a blockbuster. Yeah,
That's a
that's a
classic
box office.
matchup. Like,
Yeah, Tennessee, Ohio State.
yeah, yeah. At
At
Notre
Ohio State.
Dame,
Yeah.
bro. At Notre Dame in the middle of the winter, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
They
So
know.
here's the question.
So okay, let me finish this out. Let me finish my question out. So, do you let a nine? Would you rather let a dangerous 9-3 Miami, South Carolina in, or who just beat Clemson, a top 10 team, or do you let the runner up of the Big 12 championship get in?
No.
Because everybody else's runner up is pretty much in here.
Well, the Big 12 runner up in this instance would be 3-loss Iowa State.
Right. 3-loss Iowa State,
And
or
Iowa State is currently ranked like 24 or something.
okay. All right.
So I think from a ranking perspective, no, 16. Iowa State's that would
Are
mean
they
that
too far back for you?
huh?
Are they too far back for you?
Yeah, they're too far back.
Okay, that's fair.
Because
That's it.
Arizona State's only in it because they're the Big 12 like number one.
Right. But even if
They're
in the
15.
in the instance that they lose the Big 12, do you still let them in? Because like based
No,
on what they're doing right here.
they would just be replaced by Iowa State,
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, okay,
right?
okay. Do you
So
think
they're
there's
not even in the
anybody that could
conversation if they lose.
do you think there's anybody that could possibly or potentially jump?
I think everyone's boxed out. I think this is the
You think this is
I
locked
feel
in by
like this is the 12 and it's just jockeying for position. Because here's the question. Let's say SMU loses. Is
Mhm.
SMU out? I don't think they're out.
Not the way things have been going, I don't think.
I think this is the field.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is it's very little wiggle room.
Well,
Again,
yeah.
my only real wiggle room really is Alabama. Like, who could you plug in right there to possibly be a better option or a hotter option? Like,
Here's
what would you
yeah.
do?
If SMU loses, SMU takes Alabama's place and Clemson moves up to that.
Well,
And then Alabama would be out. So really, Alabama needs to root for SMU to win. and,
yeah,
and
that's true.
and I'm curious to hear what your conference championship game winners are. So we'll go through that here in a second. Because
Yep.
let's look at this list. Boise State, if they lose, they're out, right?
Right,
Then you look at the Big 12 champion moving into that 4th spot, right? Uh,
right,
then maybe that's where you have wiggle room, right? So you really need Boise State to lose, right?
right.
Oregon or Penn State is in, right?
Mhm.
Texas moves up to the 1 seed if Oregon loses,
Right.
which really in this bracket, I don't know if I favor because I'd much rather the path for Texas be Indiana, Notre Dame, or Alabama or SMU. Like I think that bottom half of the graph, the bottom half of that bracket is exactly where Texas should be because I think
Mhm.
they get all the way to the championship game. If Georgia loses, right, they're not gonna be the 7th seed if they lose. So you don't have to worry about playing Georgia.
Well, yeah, they'd be, yeah, okay,
Probably
yeah.
be 10, right?
That
Well, no,
might maybe
they'd
10.
probably be like 8 or 9. You'd move them to like 8 or 9, and then you'd bump up Ohio State or
You
Tennessee.
don't think okay, you wouldn't bump him up even anymore?
If Georgia loses, you can't because they can only
Oh,
be
you're right.
5 is
You're
the
right.
highest
You
they can
can't.
be,
Yeah, you can't do that. Okay.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have 3 losses, but then their
Okay.
third loss
So
is the title game.
just you. I don't think I don't even think a 10-3 Georgia should be in the game in the playoff.
Well, you're not. Then who are you going to box him out? So you're going to box him out for a team that didn't make their conference championship game, and they have the number
Dude,
one.
that's the thing, man. That's the thing, man. It's somebody's gonna be upset.
Oh yeah, I think Georgia. Look, I think these are all the locks. Oregon's a lock. Texas is a lock. Penn State is a lock. Notre Dame's a lock. Georgia's a lock. Ohio State's a lock. Indiana's a lock.
Yeah,
I think everybody else is up for grabs.
Yeah.
I think even Tennessee could be a lock. I think everybody else is up for grabs.
Oh man, what's really kind of wild about this whole situation is outside of the conference championship games, which we're going to talk about here in a second, there ain't no more games for them to be impressive. This is it,
right? That's why really Alabama's hopes of staying is SMU winning.
Oh,
because if SMU loses, then they drop to 11.
Right.
And then Alabama's out.
Yeah.
Right. And then Georgia probably moves down like one spot or two spots. Right? They move up to the other side of the bracket. And then Texas would end up with Ohio State or Tennessee, which I'd much rather play Tennessee than Georgia, to be honest, the third time. I think Texas is significantly better than Tennessee.
Okay. I mean,
I think Texas is better than Ohio State. I'm just gonna put it out there. I've never been afraid of Ohio State. Here's the thing.
Ohio State might if they don't do anything this week, they don't do anything like.
Well, they sit at home this week too, so they can be in there.
Not at home, but if they don't figure out a way to do something, if they're able to get in this college play, I don't know how you keep Brian Day.
He should have been fired Sunday, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't understand it, but
you cannot lose to Michigan 4 years in a row.
No.
Especially the way that you did and what you have, and still expect to stay. Oh, we got aggressively. Yeah, Georgia loses. I think we move to a road game in the first round on the top half of the bracket. Well, if Georgia loses, then Texas would be the number. They would be the 2 seed. So, I think you meant if Oregon. Oh, he meant if Texas loses, they move to a road game. I think aggressively. Make sure I'm understanding that correctly. Because if Georgia loses, they move to this half of the bracket right here.
Yeah.
But if Texas loses, how far does Texas fall?
Okay. So I'm saying,
is that when they just switch, or does Texas move to 6? Oh, he says
5. I'm thinking 5.
If Texas loses, Texas moves to a road game. So he's saying Texas could have to travel if they lose.
No.
I don't think Texas goes lower than a 9.
I don't think that's fair. I think Texas moves if things are to play out the way they play out. I see Texas moving into that 5 seed. Okay.
So if Penn State loses, where do they move?
Penn State will.
Do they move to then a road game and then Texas?
They will move to a road game. Basically, you would shift everything. You'd move Georgia over, and you would
slide Texas to 5.
You would slide Texas to 5, move Penn State to 7.
I'd be honest, I wouldn't be upset at that. Listen, I take the 5 seed. You saying I only have to play Arizona State and Boise State, and my toughest game is Oregon?
Listen, Ohio State lost, and they only fell how many spots? Like
4.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. We should get the exact same treatment. I'm sorry. We should get the exact same
treatment. We won the SEC in the regular season.
Thank you. We should get it. But are we? Probably not. Yeah. This is all hypothetical, right? What we're talking about. We're all talking about hypotheticals, right?
None of this matters because Texas is going to win the SEC. So Texas is a 2 seed. So, but if something happens, it's just a slight thing that something happens.
Right.
What happened in Texas? Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim. Well, I've got some. Well, I don't know if you've seen action on Twitter today, but I've in the Twitterverse, in the Twitter world, I actually put out my. I didn't put out the scores, and I don't want you to go look them up, but I
Right.
did put out who I think was going to win conference championship games.
Okay. I got my winners.
So let's go down real quick. I'm curious to hear what you have. We'll start tomorrow night. UNLV and Boise State.
Of course, I'm going Boise State, even though UNLV lost their quarterback. They've still been able to put it together, but I'm still going Boise State.
I think UNLV's played well. Their only loss
They played very well.
was Boise State, 5-point game.
Yeah,
I think at home, right? So they're playing this game. Are they playing this game on the blue field?
yeah. It's at. I
Yes, they
want to
do.
say it's at Boise. It's at Boise State.
Albertson Stadium. I
Yeah,
mean, when's the last time you heard of Albertsons? Jesus.
I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So you got Boise State. I also have Boise State.
Yep.
Tulane Army. It's a Friday night game. I don't really care about this game.
Army.
I actually had Army winning this game.
Army.
We all both know, obviously, Texas, Georgia, Iowa State, Arizona State.
I'm going Iowa State.
Probably the worst game of the day, honestly.
Yep.
I'm going Arizona State.
Okay.
I'm riding that wave. Iowa State is such a boring team to me. Like Dave Campbell, just whatever his name is, like that guy is so boring to me. Like I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Iowa State play football. So Penn State, Oregon State. Oh, sorry, Penn State, Oregon.
I'm going Oregon. I just don't think Penn State's got the chops to do it yet. They just don't.
I'm taking Penn State.
Excuse me?
I'm taking Penn State. There comes a time. Here's the thing. Both of these coaches are psyched, right? And I think Orange Bloods mentioned it earlier today. Like the way Dan Lanning and James Franklin both like coach, they're both psychos. Like they do like the most insane things.
Right.
Right. At some point, I really want to believe in James Franklin because I really like him. At some point, something has to give, right? Something has to give.
I don't know, man. He's been coaching for a long
for the last
time.
Since that Ohio State game. People like to talk about who Texas has played. Who has Oregon played? Their closest game was a road.
Did they play a West Coast team and almost lost?
They almost lost to Wisconsin in Wisconsin. So here's since that Ohio State game. This is who Oregon is playing. Illinois, Purdue, Michigan, Maryland, Washington. So who has Oregon played? Like everybody wants to give Oregon like, oh, Oregon's the best team in the country. Sure, by record because they're 12-0, but they haven't played. And look, aggressively said it. They barely beat Poison. This is the same Oregon team that struggled to beat Iowa. And we're that just clear cut is the best team in college football.
How crazy would that have been to see them go at it one more time?
Who, Ohio State, Oregon?
Ohio State and Boise. I mean,
one more.
Ohio State and Oregon. I mean, Boise State and Oregon.
Like both of those matchups, right?
Yeah.
Like if you did Boise State, Oregon again, like nobody would be upset at watching that. Ashton Genty ran all over that team.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Ashton Genty stat line against Oregon is what gives him a chance. Actually, no, I'll talk about that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, even in that Boise State game, again, I get that was week 2. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
Ashton Genty ran for 200 yards.
Yeah, he was slicing it. It was like Oregon didn't. It's like they couldn't understand defense. It's like they weren't. It almost felt like they were just like kind of like zombies, just like on the field, but they weren't reacting. And then here comes Genty right up the middle, touchdown. Like
Ohio State as a team ran for 150 yards. That was mid-season.
That's not bad. That's pretty reasonable.
That was mid-season. But
Bad.
Cherry Henderson averaged 9 carries, 9 yards on 10 carries. Right? Like, they gave up nearly 400 yards in the air. Like, it doesn't sound bad when you total them up, but when you break this game down,
it's not close, dude. What he was doing was insane. Those are video game numbers, dog.
No, I get it, but like, if we break now, granted, Oregon's offense completely obliterated Ohio State's defense, right? Dylan Gabriel, threw for 340. They ran for another 150. Yep. Evan Stewart, I haven't heard it from Evan Stewart since that game. And that game he went 7.
Evan Stewart, I want to say Evan Stewart's had a decent year.
I mean, he's finished with 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's not terrible.
That's not terrible. That's actually
number 2 receiver
good.
in that offense.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good, right? Because Tej Johnson is obviously their number 1.
Right.
But even Tej Johnson is their number 1 guy. Only has 680.
That's insane.
They
get the ball. They get the ball around. They spread it around.
So I don't know. I think Penn State's going to beat Oregon. I feel like something freaky is going to happen.
And Penn State,
James Franklin is going to figure something. Like this season has been crazy enough to, like, if that happened, it wouldn't shock me.
Right.
Greatest college football season of all time.
Yeah. True.
So if Penn State were to beat Oregon, it wouldn't shock me. So why not? I want this to continue to be the craziest football season. So I'm going to take Penn State over Oregon.
All right.
There's just something like legacies have, like, eventually bad has to get turned into.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable, right? So, all right. So I'll take that. Marshall versus Louisiana. Don't care.
Right.
SMU Clemson. I know who you've got.
I'm rolling with Clemson until the season's over. I'm rolling with Clemson. I think they beat SMU. I think they got that one wake-up call. This is the final. This is basically all or nothing. You're either all in or you're not. This is a situation where we win, we get in. Let's go win this ball game. I think that's where they're at. I think that's where their head's at. Especially, with Dabo, the way he lost, that was just a terrible, busted coverage. You let this quarterback just run all over you.
Facing a similar quarterback, though.
Yeah.
SMU's quarterback's very similar to Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, he can scoot. He's a scooter. He can scramble. And Cade Klubnik is very, I don't want to say scatterbrained, but you don't know who you're gonna get. You just don't know. You're either gonna get awesome Cade Klubnik, like, oh, he's the greatest. He's up next for the greatest college football quarterback ever, or you get a dud and I don't know.
Also, shout out to De'Aaron King, former Houston quarterback.
Yep, shout out to him.
Killing it. He's got to be up for OC position somewhere because what he's been able to do with this SMU offense, specifically Kevin Jennings, right? Kevin Jennings is having a hell of a season.
Yeah.
19 touchdowns, 17 picks. Has also rushed for nearly 400 yards as a runner. That's impressive stuff. They came in with Preston Stone. They made the change. They've only lost one game, and to finish first in the ACC for the first year being in the conference. If SMU pulls this off, Texas pulls it off. Arizona State wins.
They could literally have an opportunity to meet up in a championship game. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but it's possible.
No, man, you never know.
It is possible. Can you imagine Texas versus SMU?
That would be the state of Texas would be. And it wouldn't even be in Texas. Well, it would be in Dallas because Texas would be able to pick where they want to play, and they're going to pick Dallas.
I thought it was Houston, not Dallas.
No, it's at Jerry World. That second round game's at Jerry World.
Oh, okay.
And then
okay.
I think the winner of that game goes to the Rose Bowl. I think.
Sweet.
And actually, it might be the Sugar. I don't remember. But I think the second round game option is Cotton for Texas, and because Oregon would choose to go to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, for sure.
And then Boise would go to the Fiesta, and then SMU is slated to go Orange. That's how it is.
It's Orange, Fiesta, Sugar.
I think Sugar is a semifinal.
Is Sugar? Oh, okay.
Let me check real quick.
Cotton Bowl, is that a semi?
No, that's where Texas is slated right now. It's the Cotton Bowl.
Right. Okay.
So I think that's how it's set up. Let's see. Okay, so the official website says that the first round game. So Fiesta, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl.
Okay.
And then Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl for the semis, and then the title game.
Okay.
I don't know where the title game. That was Vegas.
Title game. I want to say the title game is in Houston. I could be wrong though.
I thought it was Vegas. Something in my brain tells me it was. No, it's Georgia in Atlanta.
It's in Georgia again.
It's in Atlanta, yeah. So quarters are Fiesta, Peach, Rose, Sugar. So my guess is Oregon, if they remain the 1 seed, they'll pick the Rose. Texas would pick the. I don't know what. Because they wouldn't be able to get the Cotton. They would probably pick the one that would allow them to get to the Cotton Bowl, right? So if the Orange Bowl is right here, or the Cotton Bowl is on their side of the bracket.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking this past college football playoff in January, that was in Houston. That's where I'm getting at. I'm getting that confused. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why I thought that the Texas would have a chance to go to the Cotton Bowl, and there might be saying the semi could be in the Cotton if they remain the 2 seed.
Ugh. Not a fan of that, but all right.
If they remain the 2, yeah, I think that's what this is. If they remain the 2 seed, they could be the Cotton. Actually, honestly, I don't know how it's gonna work. I think we just kind of wait to say the play. I don't.
Man, listen, I'm just looking forward to it. It's gonna get watched regardless.
Yeah, but yeah, that's who we've got. Going, winning this week. It's gonna be a wild week. This is gonna be a lot of fun. And then Selection Sunday will be live 11 a.m. We'll probably try to go live about 15 to 30 minutes before. So be sure to join us. Mm-hmm. Last but not least, we have to talk about National Signing Day 1. Do you have a favorite player in this class? Or the guy you're most excited about?
I want to say the obvious, Michael Terry, but Jonah Williams.
Is that so obvious, though?
Huh?
Is Michael Terry so obvious? Because the obvious to me would be Jonah Williams.
Man, Michael Terry he looks like he's gonna be everywhere, but I don't know what they're gonna do with this guy. Like he is going to be
interesting.
He's at running back. He's played corner. He's played wide receiver. He's played safety. He's played middle linebacker. He's literally tight end. He's 6'3", 230. that's pretty good. That's a really good player. But also Jonah Williams, man, I don't know what they're gonna do with him either. He's a big guy. He's 6'3", 203 pounds, but he hits and moves like a linebacker. He looks like Cam Chancellor.
I think he plays safe. I think he starts at safety.
You think he starts at safety?
Yeah. Listen. You
We can
can't bring in a
him in
5-star two. You cannot bring in a 5-star 2-sport athlete and not start.
True.
You just can't. You just can't.
True.
Like I think you'll see Derek Williams on one side. You'll see because he'll be back, right?
Right.
I think you'll see Jonah Williams on the other side. I think by the time the season starts, and then you'll see like Xavier Philson, see some of those guys be like Phillips, right? No backups, no come in situations.
Right.
And look, somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. There's just so much talent on this Texas team now.
Yeah,
Like,
this incoming team, is going to shift around a lot of.
Yeah,
it's going to shift some stuff around. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of guys jump in the portal. Not necessarily now. I think a lot of those guys understand. Like, outside of Cook, I think a lot of these guys are like, I think they feel that they got a legitimate chance to win a championship. So I don't expect a lot of those guys to jump in the portal. Now, if they're absolutely seeing no playing time or for whatever reason they just don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, at least through the spring, I don't see anybody.
That's one thing, but I just don't see that happening. So yeah, a lot of these guys are coming in at the top of the year, multi-sport athlete. Again, we think he'll basically be on campus for this year coming up. Baseball starts really soon, actually.
Like 90 days. Yeah, it starts in March.
Yeah. So, man, that I would say Jonah Williams is my guy. Jonah Williams is my guy, and it has been. He's freaky. Like, he literally can do everything. Michael Terry, one of those other guys as well, but Jonah Williams, man, I think he might be like Earl Thomas special at the end
if
of
Jonah Williams doesn't come in, I think Michael Tapper.
If you don't what?
If Jonah Williams never came, I think Michael Tapper.
Okay.
That's how good I think he is.
Okay.
But you got guys like Santana Wilson.
Yep.
You still, you've got who's very talented corner. Wardell Mack has played some good snaps this year.
Wardell Mack.
He's been Kobe Black. Really good. I think Kobe Black's going to have a starting role on this team next year.
Yep, for sure.
God, so many freaking guys. It's insane.
Yeah. I think Kobe Black is the guy for the secondary when he comes in. Like,
Malik
next year.
Yeah, Kobe Black's a freshman this year. He's played a little bit this year already, and he's played well. Kobe Black played really well. I think it was the Florida game. Kobe Black played really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kobe Black and Malik Muhammad kind of lead your second.
Yeah.
And Jalen Gilboa, we'll see if he comes back. He'll definitely be around if he stays.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see him staying.
Yep.
And you have I think Javion Cole is going to transfer again because I don't think he has a spot on this team.
Not at all. That's unfortunate.
But there's just too much talent.
It's a lot of talent.
I wouldn't start. I wouldn't play Javion Cole over Wardell Mack, or even Jonah Williams. Like I just wouldn't. They're better than him at this point, and even at this point coming in, and those guys already been in the program. I think he's going to end up.
Jere Bledsoe is
he's already announced he's entering the portal.
Yeah,
just talent. Especially if you get Justice Terry tomorrow, there's zero chance. There's zero chance Jere Bledsoe.
Yeah. Maybe he already knows. I think a lot of those guys get tipped off.
Some of those guys know.
I think those guys know who's getting ready to come in. I think those guys know like they're gonna want to see significant more playing time.
Yeah.
And with a talent like that, potentially coming in and like basically taking over your spot. Like,
You look at Sadir Mitchell, like that's somebody else that you just don't know. Like, would he stay? He's had some off the field conversations and issues. Alex January is going to play next year.
yep.
For sure he's going to play. So is your starting, defensive line Justice Terry and Alex January probably, and then I think you go into the portal at defensive line tackle. They're going to have to go into the portal because maybe Aaron Bryant plays a little bit. I think they're going to go into the portal for.
Wait, is Bear Alexander available still?
Nah, I don't think he's actually officially announced that he would be. There have been rumors.
Okay.
But one guy that is entering the portal that Texas was interested in 2 years ago is Barry Brown, the wide receiver from Kentucky.
From where?
Texas, from Kentucky. Texas.
Okay.
Tried to get Barry Brown to enter the portal 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember this, or maybe it was last year, and they couldn't get it. They almost got him to enter, and they couldn't do it. And when I say Texas tried to, you know how that whole thing works.
Yeah.
They weren't able to. They're saying that Texas isn't interested. I don't think they really know yet because Texas is still in the thick of the season. The only teams that they've named that are interested are all teams that aren't playing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Texas is somebody to look out for. I do think Texas goes into the portal to get a wide receiver because you know how Stark likes wide receivers with speed.
And he likes to get that speed, dog. He likes to get that speed.
Barry Brown would be insane. Like, we're talking like just about Xavier Worthy speed from Barry. That dude is
that's impressive. That's impressive.
That's somebody I'd keep an eye out on. But my favorite player, easily my favorite player in this recruiting class is Khalid Lock. I think Khalid Lock is going to be an absolute stud.
Dude, I forgot about Khalid Lock.
The dude from Sashi. That
dude's
going to be a stud.
He's going to be special for sure. He's going to be really, really special. He's tall. He's fast.
Yeah. Short, long, great route runner, excellent hands. Can put, catch down. He's very good at catching the ball down the middle of the field, which I think this Texas offense lacks a lot. I mean, the ability to
KJ Lacey. We haven't really talked much about him either, but KJ Lacey is a big steal. He's got a rocket for an arm. Oh my god.
He does.
He can fling it. He throws the way I want my quarterbacks to throw. Yeah. He throws with a lot of velocity. He stands very tall in the pocket.
Yep.
Even though he's only 6 foot, I can see that being the situation. He's very light.
Very good on his feet. He's got really good work.
But he's quick though. He's really quick. He's very quick. So
that QB battle between him and Diabell is going to be very interesting because I think Arch stays 2 years. You're going to get 2 years of Arch.
I think
Texas
so too.
Will win a national title.
I think
don't
so
know
too.
which year. Texas is going. Listen, we're talking. If Texas wins a title this year, they will win at least one more. So they'll have 2 and 3 years for sure. I guarantee it. There's zero chance Sark doesn't win a national title with Arch. Zero chance. He's going to win at least one. He might win 2.
Okay. Well, in closing, what are your thoughts of the current ranking? We know that this is not the final ranking, but the current ranking being that Texas being number 1 currently above Alabama. So right now the top 5 are Texas. I'll start from 5. 5 is Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, Texas. So far.
Are you talking about recruiting rankings?
Recruiting rankings, yes.
Oh, okay. What according to who?
According to 247.
Okay, so you're using 247 as the source. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, so this also says, this is recruiting rankings. It's so like even look at like the space between like Alabama and Texas is only 2 points. right?
It is.
And this
But
is only the first signing day. There's still guys
right,
like that doesn't include Alabama, who hasn't. Ty Haywood has not signed yet, right? That's a
right.
5-star offensive tackle out of the state of Texas.
And he may not want to sign, especially with the way that Oklahoma is basically switching over from a spread, a power spread, pro
Yeah,
spread offense to an air raid offense.
yeah. But Ty Haywood, like Bryce Underwood going to Michigan, that could help impact Ty Haywood a little bit. I know
Mm-hmm.
Michigan's still trying to make a push for him. Um, Georgia is like at number 3 at 302 points.
Ooh,
If Georgia gets Justice Terry,
okay,
then
I like it.
Georgia is gonna jump, right?
Right,
Because Justice Terry is like cream of the
Justice.
crop.
I think Justice. Whoever gets Justice, like you said, is basically going to solidify that top spot. It's
Yeah.
he's the guy. He's really one of the last guys
I,
to
I,
fall. One of the last major guys to fall. Not to say that these guys, none of the other guys aren't important, but like
yeah.
he's one of the last like big dogs to like fall.
If there
So
was like a 6-star, right? Justice Terry would be a 6-star,
probably,
right?
probably.
Um, they
So
call these guys 5-star pluses. I don't know. It's so stupid. I don't know. Should call it 6-star. It's not 5-star plus. It's so dumb. So, um, if Texas lands Justice Terry, I think they could end up with the number one class.
well, I think so. I think whoever in the top five, if they're able to land Justice Terry, and Justice Terry's
It's
schools
really
were,
a two-man race right now.
was it A&M or I mean
No,
Georgia,
it's
Georgia,
Texas and
Texas.
Georgia. Yeah, it's Texas and Georgia.
Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Texas.
So
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
think either one of those guys, like you said earlier, I think that's a sure lock for a number one spot. Again, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because it's been a long time since we've heard about Texas being a number one, number we've
Recruiting class. Yeah.
yeah, number one recruiting class. Tom got up there very close, very close.
Yeah, but nothing Tom does that I ever care about. I don't
Oh
care
my god.
about anything he
You
does.
still got to give him his props. He signed a top five recruiting class multiple years.
And did nothing with them. He did nothing with them except make them regress them and then make them had to work their tails off to go make the NFL. That's what Tom Herman did. I'm sorry, dude. I cannot stand
Anywho,
Tom Herman.
you are shooting slugs at Tom.
Hey,
Like Tom is not
hey,
safe at
I
all.
dislike Tom Herman so much. The like you know do you know how we got the title of like 5-star ego with 3-star coaching?
Well,
That came from Tom Herman.
they came from Tom because Tom wasn't doing. I mean, you can say the same thing about Charlie. You can say the same thing. You can say the same thing about Charlie.
Charlie wasn't playing in number one recruiting classes like Tom Herman was.
True. True.
That's
True.
the difference.
True. 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 True.
That's
True.
the
True.
difference.
True. True. True.
But
Anyway, any closing thoughts? We're about to hit 2 hours.
it's which is crazy. There's one thing. As we look in the 2026 class, there are two guys Texas has to land.
Who's that?
John Turntine, the offensive tackle, out of is it Denton? Oh, where? Sorry, out of Fort Worth. I think
Okay.
he goes to Crowley. Yeah, out of Crowley.
Okay.
You have to get this guy. I don't know if you watch high school football. I think Duncanville is going to play North Crowley. You need to watch if they do, you need to watch that game, and you need to watch for left tackle John Turntine the third.
Okay.
That dude's a dog. That dude, that is because we didn't get Fasusi.
Right. That's the
That's your
next
next.
guy up.
That's your next like Kelvin Banks.
Right. Okay.
And then they have to land the defensive tackle out of Bastrop, which I've talked about a few times on the show.
Right.
Tola, Nico Tola.
I don't
Oh,
know.
Toka. Hold on. I got you.
Nico.
Not Nico. Shit. What's his name? Oh, man, I've lost his name. I'd say Tolofili or something. It's something like that, man. But he's in the 26 class, defensive tackle in the 2026
Yeah,
class.
Tolafili. Lawrence Tolafili.
Tolofili from Bastrop, right?
Okay.
Uh, that those are two guys that Texas has to get. Like when we talk about 2026.
Okay.
So obviously that we're not done with this cycle yet, right?
No,
But
no, no.
as we look into next year or next cycle, that is a guy that Texas. Those are two guys Texas absolutely has to have. Uh, if we're talking about like keeping some confidence inside the state,
Yeah.
those are two guys that you
Right. Yeah, man. Of course, like, again, those building blocks as far as like when I think back of like those teams that we were just talking about earlier, like Corey Redding was a big signing. Rob Babers was a big signing. DJ Johnson was a DJ was a big signing. Those were key focal points on Max teams, whether it be offense or defense.
yeah.
Vince, where did Vince want to go outside of Texas? I can't remember what the other school was.
I don't remember.
I can't remember where it was. But regardless, landing Vince was a big deal. Landing Cedric Benson, big deal. Um, these were guys that are like highly touted, like high school football players. A lot of legends, legendary football players. You think about those guys. I think a lot of people think about like Kyler Murray, like not winning, not losing a high school football game, but like some of the stuff that these like Cedric Benson was doing, some of the stuff that Corey Redding and DJ Johnson and what they were doing on the field was like insane. Like
Yeah.
they were doing some crazy stuff. So dog, you got to win the state. You win the state. You get your guys' influence to come in and see what they can do.
I don't. It's not realistic to say you have to win the state because of the NIL and like how that all works out. But
Right.
you have to get a majority of the guys in the state. So Texas this cycle got 9 out of the top 20 Like
Right.
that's almost 50%. Like that's what you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic to get everybody from the state anymore because 5 stars now they want to play, right? And they have options that they can go to play immediately. And
Right.
Texas
Right.
isn't
Right.
always going to be that option.
Right. Right.
Fasusi, for example, listen, I wanted Michael Fasusi really bad. There was zero chance he after. Do you think Michael Fasusi saw that game in versus A&M? He probably saw Kelvin Banks go out and he's like, okay, well, let's see what we got. He saw Trevor Gooseby play, in my opinion. He was like, I'm not certain. Dude, Trevor Gooseby played that game,
But he would rather.
and
Okay,
it
so
didn't even feel like he got hurt.
no, there was no drop
They
off.
didn't miss.
There
They
was no
didn't. They
drop
didn't,
off whatsoever.
they
There
didn't
was
miss a
no
beat.
drop off. My only thing about Fasusi, and again, do I think he's going to stay there? No, honestly, not the way
Probably,
things are going. Huh?
he'll probably transfer, right? Unless
I th-
Oklahoma has this miraculous season next year, he's going to transfer.
I think he's going to give Oklahoma the good old heave ho, the good old college try, and then if they don't make it, if they don't look good, he's gone.
Yeah. Well, it's
Like
not any different than Michael Hudson, right? Michael Hudson's like, wow, I want to go help turn this. And then he got there, and Joey McGuire's probably a little psycho. And he's like, you know what, Micah, you're the best player we've ever recruited. How about you go sit on the bench? And Micah's like, wait, what?
absolutely insane.
So,
Absolutely.
like, how about I do what? So, yeah, that's a little bit weird, but Tiki Hola is the guy I was talking about. Texas has to.
Tiki. Okay,
Holler, the
dude.
defensive tackle out of Bastrop. He's the
Right,
number 16 prospect in the state of Texas.
right.
Have to have it. You
Yes,
have to.
Tiki. Okay, I did hear about that name quite a bit.
Yeah, I
During,
brought him up a couple times. That is a
during,
guy I've seen some tape on, and that dude is going to
is
be
that the guy blowing people off the ball?
yeah. That's the guy that's going to be something.
Okay,
You didn't get Brown this cycle, right? You lose them to LSU. By the
right.
way, LSU defensive linemen are leaving in a hurry. So I'm just saying, Kenny Baker deserves his little flowers, right? Bo Davis, as great as he is, he's not hitting the recruiting and the development of those players is not happening. I'm
Man,
just saying, I'm not here to
shout out
judge.
to Bo, man. Listen, I ain't got no ill will towards
I got
Bo,
no ill will against Bo,
but
but I'm just saying,
it is very alarming how many people are actually leaving LSU and how fast they're leaving.
I'm just I got nothing against Bo, but I'm just so. But hey, we've been here for over 2 hours. There's a lot. We've talked about a lot. We went through a lot today. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Before we do though,
You cut out. What'd you say?
we've talked about a lot today. We've got to get out of here. But before we go, where can the people find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me at Tim Wayne on Twitter. Again, man, I appreciate y'all blowing up my tweet that I put out there. I did not expect to get that many views and that many likes and that much engagement as it did. I just thought it was funny. I posted it and went on about my business. Next thing I know, I come back and my phone is like halfway dead in literally like 20 minutes. And I've got a really good phone. So again, shout out to y'all. Way to run those numbers up. I appreciate it. Man, it's gonna be an exciting weekend. I can't wait to talk about it with y'all. Can't wait to see y'all Sunday morning for sure. It's either gonna be a good day or it's gonna be all right.
Oh, it's gonna be a good day because Texas is gonna be in the playoff either way. We
I
just got to
mean,
figure out what our
regardless,
path is gonna
but
be.
I do. To be fair, I do want Texas to get that first round bye. I just think Sark will be able to do so much with that first round bye. That's just me.
I just want to be able to say that we're the only team in the history of the SEC to win the title. That's all I want to say.
That's
Oh,
fair.
and by the way, we did it by beating you like your best program in the conference.
Right. And we saw your flagship team twice and split it.
But hey, you can find me at the Uncle Gandhi. Of course, we'll be back Sunday morning. I'll be on about 10:30, 10:45. Well, we're react to the college football playoff. Where Texas lands. But if you have any doubt if Texas is going to make the playoff at this point, I don't know what to tell you because they will make the playoff.
They're going
It's
to
just
make
going
it.
to be a matter of. It's just
Yeah,
a matter
they've
of
already basically ESPN's confirmed it already. Like it goes from like a 99% to like a 95% if Texas loses.
Yeah.
They're not going to go super far.
By the way, this weekend's guest picker is Timothy Chalamet. Never heard of him. Don't know who he is.
Oh, that's the guy that plays Doom. He's in Doom. He's the guy that plays he's the main character in Doom.
Doom the movie?
Doom, yeah.
Interesting. Man, I've never heard of his name.
You never heard of Timothy Chalamet?
But to be fair, I'm really bad with names. So,
all right, Timothy
and he
Chalamet.
doesn't look familiar.
You don't? Did you ever watch Doom or Willy Wonka?
Oh, that's Timothy Chalamet. See, I know who you're talking about now.
Right.
I just don't. I'm just not good at like.
Yeah, he was the main character in the Dune series, and man, that movie, Dune, is a great movie. Heard it's even an even better book, but yeah, that's where I know him from. And he also played Willy Wonka. I wasn't a big fan of it. I did watch it, but I wasn't a big fan of it.
Oh, you're talking. He was Willy Wonka in the new Wonka movie.
Yes, in the one that came out last year.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's a good.
Listen, if it ain't Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I don't want it.
I mean, it is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No.
Again, it's more of a backstory.
Willy Wonka. It's Wonka, right?
More of a backstory.
Yeah. Charlie and the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from back in the day. Nothing's gonna ruin that movie for me. Yeah.
Facts.
I might go check. But anyway, that's the guest picker on Saturday. He's probably going to pick Georgia to win because I think he's from Georgia.
Yeah, he's from Georgia.
Okay, well then nobody cares. So Timothy, for your sake, I hope you guys lose. I hope Willy Wonka or Tim or Charlie or Timothy, whatever the hell you call it, I hope the movie sucks. But we're out of here. My name is Sarish, just my guy Tim. We're out of here. Peace.
So Gabriel.
Go home, touchdown like an end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home.
So actually, check this out. Whoops, we're still
I think he's from New York.
Go home, touchdown like an end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home.